Game number one, ladies and gentlemen, the Kittens against Boluo. So here we have it, the Kings in the north. It's really a fun team. I mean, every single one of these guys has a Song of Ice and Fire or Game of Thrones name, and it's kind of an interesting team name that they have there too. But yeah, they've been playing like kittens in some of their games, but outside of that, they have also had one or two matches where they actually started to really pack a punch. Boluo is currently on rank 8, the last rank in the standings, which is pretty disappointing. And they just don't seem really to mesh together, so the names on the lineup don't really come through, you could say. But either way, they need points today. This is a best of 2. We are in the final stage of one of the final stages of the tournament. We are in the last group stage. There's 8 teams that are still left. It's a double round robin that they're playing, and the top 4 will make it into a step ladder system bracket that will determine the champion. Boluo is currently far away from reaching that, but they might still be able to turn things around since they have roughly 9 matches left. So there's a lot of opportunity to get some points together and attack the top 4. But right now they are number 8. And they have to take the Kittens down. If they don't do that, then they can pretty much enjoy the rest of their vacation in Taiwan and China. But things would look very, very grim there. So at this point we have actually Dehaka, Zeratul banned out, Maiev and Tyrande also eliminated. The insta picks for Boluo into Jaina and Anuburak. They played a lot with the role swap that we've been discussing over the past few weeks. Shrimpy now in the main tank position instead of Wooby. Wooby has transitioned into the off lane again, and we're having a 3-6-5 on the support with Gia and Poik delivering the damage. The Kittens with a good setup here for our first map, Cursed Hollow already. They have Ana and Liming, so the nano boost on Liming would allow for a lot of damage potential here. Diablo is definitely going to get value out of the wall stuns if he plays that properly. Illidan gets banned out, as we've seen Illidan played a lot. And now the Kittens with the next ban here, with a third one on their end. But yeah, Boluo, they have to try and turn this around today. And again, one single map win is not going to cut it against the Kittens. Kittens are currently on rank 7. So they are a direct contender, and with Genji banned out, Boluo will still need to have a bit of damage. We're having opportunities to pick Urel if they want to. That was one of their favorite heroes to play in the past. Global is obviously important on the map too, with Dehaka already banned out. Abathar is still available. Highlighting that here for a second, because that's definitely a hero we could see here. But it's ETC. ETC with a potential stage dive. Could rock the off lane. Karazim, aggressive setup here. 365 actually on Karazim today, always assuming that they're sticking with the roles they established over the past few weeks. So Karazim is going to be thrown out here. And let's have a look of what's going to happen on Kitten's side. They are still in need of an offlaner. There's the bird, so the global for them as well. If we're seeing the stage dive on ETC, you can mirror that. And we have Thrall on that offlane. Last pick for Boluo. Very likely to be Poik's hero. Could play a Junkrat here. Honestly, Reyna is still up. Could definitely play Jimmy if you want to. Good setup for him as well, as long as you position him nicely and don't get sundered from Thrall from a flank. And what's Boluo gonna get? What's gonna be the last pick here for them? A Swedish Chinese lineup with Samuro. Game number 1, Cursed Hollow, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1, time to shine. We have Gia on Samuro. Usually that's actually Shrimpy's position. I mean, Shrimpy has been playing Samuro in HGC even for quite some time. But obviously with the role swap of him into the main tank, they're still sticking out with that. But Gia now with Samuro in a position where he can definitely be super annoying. And we have on the other side Benjen, Brandon, Rickon, Sansa, and Jon Snow. Going full Game of Thrones here. The Kings in the north, the Kittens, and Falstad in this case is going straight for the mage build. Also interesting that Brandon in particular went for Falstad. I mean, again, Brand is the three-eyed raven, so I guess he can fly around a little bit, but to be honest, lately he just spends all his time in a wheelchair in the courtyard, so I'm not quite sure what to think about that. Stacks keep coming in, not only on the side of Falstad, but we have the Trash Lightning on the side of Thrall too. Interesting choice for Cursed Hollow. Now, Cursed Hollow is probably not the worst map for the talent, but it's definitely far from being the best map for this particular map there either. So up to the top lane, Wooby is now facing off against, interestingly enough, Falstad. So they're trying to keep Thrall in a position where he can get some stacks together and don't send him onto the off lane. That's going to make that setup definitely a bit more interesting, but it should still be pretty tricky for Thrall to get decent stacks on Crash Lightning, yeah, especially when he's dead. That's of course a thing. So Sansa just is able to move away here, and it's a little bit, yeah, it's a little bit tough for Thrall to get any value. I guess around the tribute that might change, but still, we're gonna have a look at that. Down to the bottom of the map, Poig is already sitting right here, trying to get his own value, and he's not alone. 365 is jumping in, trying to be a bit aggressive against Benjen. Benjen there on the Li Ming, having at the same time Sansa just fighting minions. If you can't beat the heroes, go for the minions instead. So this is a series where Boluo definitely has to take. And again, we are usually talking about this early on, but I want to throw it out again. If you are currently looking at this and you're wondering a bit about the lower FPS, that's unfortunately the source material that we get from the Chinese. It's a bit of a lower quality than I have on my own live stream and YouTube. So as a trade-off, we still get the live information out of China and have a bit of a glimpse at their meta, and of course can follow the journey of the Swedes. So it's a hit that we are happily taking. But yeah, just in case that you were surprised a little bit by the frame issues, that's the explanation for that. It's also the explanation why we have the old HTC UI that does not allow us to check the stacks on quest talents as regularly. So I unfortunately don't have a control over that either, so I can't show you regularly Crash Lightning and Frostwolf Pack, for example. But our Chinese observer has recently started to actually show that a bit more often. Unfortunately, normally that's only the case in the early game, so I hope that he's going to be consistent with this throughout of this series. But for now, it seems that Thrall only has 3 stacks on the Crash Lightning, so not really the best stacking process just yet, but maybe after those tribute fights when there are no minions around, he will be able to increase the number to something meaningful. Boluo is already pushing aggressively, and they have definitely been improving. The question just simply is, are they improving fast enough to still have an impact in the group stage? Right now, Falstad with adjustments as well on his level 4, so full on mage build for him, but even adjusting the level 4 talent, going into the barrel roll here instead of going for lightning, hammer gains, or you name it. Still, Brandon already flying in. ETC doesn't have stage style available to him just yet, so he's slowly starting to rotate down here. Jon Snow sitting at the front on his Diablo, trying to be a little bit terrifying without a sword. Still having that gloomy look on his face as usual on the other hand. And Benjen with the attempt at the channel. There comes the Wolf, as we're seeing Thrall getting some stacks together for his level 4. Gia on his Samuro will have a huge impact in the late game if he plays that correctly, and will definitely try to take down structures. But right now they're simply attempting to go for the first tribute in that series here. Starting to jump in for the tribute, ETC still pushing out the mid lane, and you can actually see that reflected in the experience lead that Boluo has. With them rotating heroes into the side lane here and trying to play around that, they're doing a great job controlling XP and getting the early level 7, which gives them a bit of a lead. But it seems that they are still not willing to fully commit onto the tribute. There's a level 7 on both sides. Great silence, and 365 is too late. And with silence, I meant sleep. So Rickon definitely getting some value here. Completely contrary to what he does in Game of Thrones. But yeah, so Rickon at this point on his Ana gets the sleep dart through just as Nubarak wants to go for the interrupt, and 365 reacts a little bit too late, which gives the first tribute over to the Kittens immediately. So top side, Wooby still having his little dance against Falstad. Has to be a bit careful here, obviously. I mean, you go up against the range damage dealer. That always makes the side lane a bit uncomfortable. Jon Snow comes in. They're trying to go for Whoopi here again. And the Whoopstar is low. And the Sleeping Dart is finally also claiming his life. Or at least sets him up for the kill. So Falstad with a kill. That's the first death in the game. Boluo losing one right here. And we're having already the push straight over to Jon Snow at this point. Sansa dancing around there too. On Thrall. Would love to see the stacks. Let's hope that we're going to see that eventually, but really Thrall had a tough time getting that together. Now that we're nearly having 9.5 for Boluo, they might actually be able to get heroic abilities around the tribute that's going to spawn there pretty soon. Poik still sitting on his Jaina in the mid lane. And we're going to monitor, especially after level 10, Samuro a little bit more than we do right now, because he is going to be one of the important heroes in this setup to try and create some pressure on the off lane, on try to make sure that they are always having like 2 or 3 positions on the map where the kittens have to try and defend here. Now, they can go for the easy channel. There's no contest whatsoever since the level 10 was just so close. And now, as expected, we're seeing stage dive, 7-sided too. And level 10's any second now also for the kittens. So, by the way, with Thrall also completed the level 4 quest. There's a boss attempt. Okay, both of the teams are on it immediately. Falset is still at the top. Doesn't have level 10 so far, but with them sniffing out that Boluo is going for their own boss, they make the commitment down here. Yep, Samuro is moving in again, sees what's happening, can scout it out, but he himself won't be able to do much about it. So they're already starting to jump in with that. And there we have it. Boss taken at the top, bots taken at the bottom. Disintegrate claimed by Li Ming against Anubarak so that she can burn the cocoon down. We're having also the nano boost for Li Ming, seeing Thrall with the Sundering. And this is actually one of those things where Thrall needs to try and get the flank through. 6 stacks only for Thrall and 13 for Falstad right now. So the Trash Lightning not really getting a lot of value just yet. And it is a tough map to stack it. I mean, even with Falstad taking the solo lane most of the time, Thrall usually doesn't find himself in a position where he can just poke away. It's a little bit different around an objective fight when the tribute is on the map, but even that is not quite that easy. Boluo is taking the lead here, but I want to remind everybody that Boluo actually had against OFD an insane lead on Volskaya, and then at the end of the game things got turned on their head very, very quickly with simply one team fight more or less deciding the game there. So for now it's just a bit of time bought. Boss still moving through the bot lane, and up to the top we're seeing ETC accompanying the boss towards the keep of the kittens. And, well, if he can stage dive into the backline, they might just stop them there short. We're also seeing Samuro starting to shark around a little bit. Wooby still in the back there. Sansa wants to go for the lockdown. Looks for Wolf, doesn't find it just yet. The two of them still dancing here. Boss at the bot lane on the bottom right. Got already defended against by the towers. Benjen in trouble, and Benjen is down. Brandon also. Oh my god, Brandon gets wrecked. And we have Jon Snow falling to you know nothing, Jon Snow. He thought he could actually peel for the rest of the team, but he knows nothing and he goes down. Rickon also eliminated. And we're having Sansa at this point, the sole survivor of that little onslaught, but that obviously opens up the keep itself, and Boluo is moving in immediately to take the keep itself. And that is, of course, now going to put this in a really bad spot for the kittens. I mean, at this point, it's pretty much like all the Starks get eliminated. That's pretty rough going. Jon is dead, and so is the rest of them. Sansa, the only survivor, at least in this particular fight. But as you can see, the kills just keep coming. They could have maybe even gotten Thrall there, but Rickon, honestly, with the quick poison that he got through and tick damage, was able to burn the, well, not quite burn it down, but eliminate the cocoon and allow for him to get out there. 13-14 now against 12, 4 kills against 1, and that is a curse tribute if Boluo claims it. And Boluo is going to try and take it here. 365, starting to dart around even more with his Kharazim. Now, of course, we're also seeing more and more value from Samuro. I mean, look at the minimap. Samura's actually taking the Bruiser camp while all of this happens. We have Jaina moving in to help him out, but while the rest of the team just interrupts the tribute and delays it for as long as possible, they take the camp, and the camp is now going to push the mid lane. So it's a honestly dire situation. 7-sided, and Sansa is dead as well. I always knew that Arya was a superior Stark. Down goes Anna again. Thrall dead, Anna dead. And they are trying to make the play now for Falstad and Jon Snow. Once again, the last man standing, but he falls once more. No chance for him to have an impact in this one. Loses his soul once again, and with that, he's now starting to come back with a lot less HP than previously. They're trying to go for Benjen. Whoop! And a quick move over the wall saves Li Ming, at least for now. So nicely played, but at this point, Shrimpy is taking the tribute, and that's the curse. And with that, we're now having Boluo coming onto the bot lane like there's no tomorrow. And the kittens are definitely in trouble. I mean, the kings in the north, they're trying to somehow sustain through all of this. But the south is rising, like, I don't know, or the White Walkers are coming. Winter is coming, maybe came already, and in this case it's actually represented by Jaina, who's dropping that ice damage whenever she can, and they're trying to do the exact same thing now with Jon Snow, and he just has no chance whatsoever. You would think that all that experience on the wall would have at least at some point made him a little bit more resilient against all that ice damage from Jaina, but nothing could be farther from the truth. Jon Snow is dead again. Apparently he didn't learn his lesson on the wall. Now they're trying to make the play for Sansa too. And she was always a little bit of a feeble one. Sansa gets out there. Anna kept her alive, but Anna herself has to pay the price as Samuro goes in for the final hit. And now they're trying to make the play here for the core itself. And Boluo this time, nothing stops them. They take the lead against the Kings in the North in Cursed Hollow. Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Boluo against the Kittens. And well, the Swedes came out swinging, as they should. They took the Starks down. I don't know if that makes them Lannisters or not, but the pineapples kind of suggest that they might be a little bit farther towards the Martells. Either way, Boluo taking the win there. Against the Kings in the North. Then again, if you think about it, I mean, they are Swedes, right? So in Europe, there's always like the Kings in the North. That's pretty much the Swedes. So I think they are looking towards the Kittens and they're saying, you guys are just dirty imposters and we are going to drop you now one after another. And they did exactly that. So they get that already. They take them down. They get the first map win. But this is a best of 2 and every single map counts. Can't lose now. We're looking at Battlefield of Eternity, our second map. We have bans on Anna. We're seeing Garrosh and Maiev banned out, and the last ban in our first rotation from the Kittens. What are we gonna have? What do you get rid of here? I mean, even Tyrande would be a good one. Anubarak has been prioritized a little bit more by them, but they banned Tyrande, as expected, and Boluo is going to be that first pick into Anub. Are we going to have a Hanzo priority? Li Ming maybe even? A lot of good heroes to be taken here for sure. With 2 supports banned out, you could also make an earlier rotation into the support, but nope, as expected, it is the Beetle going full for the bulk here. But Boluo needs another victory, as I said already before. Every map counts, Boluo needs a 2-0. They had so far a very, very tough start into this group stage. You can't even say start anymore because we are 4 or 5 matches deep now. And Boluo took a single map. This is the second one now. Jaina and ETC are taken on the other side as they're taking that. And at this point, how is Boluo following up on the Anubarak engage? If you talk about the objective, then Hanzo and or Li Ming would of course be good heroes here. Then again, keep in mind, we have already a Jaina taken on the side of the Kittens. So that actually means that it's very, very unlikely that they're going to take Li Ming too. We don't see too much double mage. We've seen a couple of teams dabble in double mage, but for most of them it doesn't really work out. So with Li Ming not really an option for the Kittens here right now, it also means that Anubarak is pretty much guaranteed to get a lot of value out of this, unless the opponent's team is like dropping a Tracer or something like that. Now Malfurion got banned by the Kittens. They're trying to support choke Boluo a bit. After they just played Karazim, I'm not so certain if that's going to be happening. And especially in the Chinese tournament, the support variety has been pretty big. In comes the ban against Sylvanas, and yeah, let's see what the Kittens are actually going to pull off here. They need an offlaner still. Boluo has already decided to go into the Haka for Whoopi. Here comes Imperius. They themselves don't have a support yet either, so with them now picking a support, it's going to reduce the options for Boluo even more. And we have Alexstrasza on Battlefield of Eternity. Now that is an interesting pick. And Alarak taken plus Uther for Boluo. Good setup for them again as we are heading into game number 2. What's the last pick here for the Kittens before starting with Battlefield of Eternity? Boluo currently in the lead, trying to take the Kittens down with a 2-0. And it's Greymane for the Kings in the North. Game number 2. Benjen, Brandon, Rickon, Sansa and Jon Snow. are going to do their best here to turn this little franchise around and at least put 1 point onto the scoreboard for themselves. But obviously we have still our Swedes. We have Team Egg, Pineapple, or whatever you're going to call them, Team Boluo, in a position where they're now going to try and make this the first big victory for them in the final group stage. We're having Dehaka likely going to head to the top lane, and Boluo with a 4-man then at the bottom, going to try and get their hits in there too. Alaric, of course, going to be a bit of a linchpin factor in this entire setup with good stacks around the negatively charged on level 4. He will definitely be able to put in the damage later on. But we're going to see how that's going to work out. Already up to the top. It's actually the 4-man. Dehaka has moved down to the bottom of the map to shake things up a bit and maybe give them an early opportunity for a kill. Didn't quite work out that way. But yeah, it's game on here. And we have Alarak in that 4-man. Poik wants to get the stacks together. And they're honestly getting already the damage in against Ricken on his Alexstrasza, which is still an interesting pick for me personally. Alexstrasza has for me been one of the surprises of the Chinese meta. Ruby actually with really nice plays against the bot lane here, getting the dragon against Jaina and then dodging Imperius as well. But coming back to Alexstrasza for a second, Alexstrasza is pretty much disregarded as a hero in the European meta at this point when you're looking towards Division S. But in China, she is oftentimes even first picked. And there's of course a couple of maps where Alexstrasza gets decent value, especially when we're talking Infernal Shrines. But the hero gets even first picked on other maps like Volskaya by some of the Chinese teams. And it's a really interesting set. Because obviously, from a theoretical perspective, if you have like an objective on a map where team fights are guaranteed, Alexstrasza's way to heal is going to get a bit more value. But even despite that fact, the hero in Europe is not really seen as a big alternative to Ana, Torrande, Malfurion, and others. So it's really interesting to see that it's not only played in China, but the priority that the hero has here. Either way, KiTN's use it on Battlefield of Eternity, which I would never describe as one of the great maps for Alexstrasza, so we're going to see if that helps them. They are obviously going to try and force these fights by moving in with Greymane and the rest of the team after pick power slide. Could have honestly seen him with the Tyrael pick to round things off here and try and get that sanctification in on top of it. Either way, Whoopi at the bot lane gets ganked and is trying to escape through this, but that might be a little bit too much for him to handle. He gets a drag through, but that's the kill against him. Nicely done. KiTN's with the first kill again. And that was very, very well executed by the KiTNs. A quick rotation, good cooldown stack there, and then the death of Dehaka as he gets dropped. And that leaves us with a lead in experience for the Kings in the north. Boluo with level 4, now also dropping into their hands as the first objective is about to start. Camp is already taken. A bit quicker here by Boluo than by the KiTNs. We have negatively charged, so the stacking process is going to start at this point for Boluo. And also the added slows on Anubarak with a bed of barbs that he has just chosen to spec into. Cam's taken on both sides right now. And we're seeing at the bottom of the map, Dehaka back to business. Can now rotate in for this, but the poker has already started. This is where Hanzo usually gets a ton of value, of course, as well. They're trying to go for Brandon here as he starts to sneak away. And yeah, down here. I mean, ETC is always nice if you can set something up, but Sansa's very, very much alone and gets a slide through at least. Dragon Queen gets actually put out pretty early. I feel like that player kind of missed his calling, or at least his nickname. That's not much Ricken, but Danny. Either way, they're making the play for the halftime show right now, and Boluo is racing that as much as they can. It's nearly a... I mean, this is pretty much dead even, honestly. It's a slight lead here, even for Boluo, despite the Dragon Queen that was pushed out there. And the poke still continues. Jon Snow is sitting there on Imperius this time, striding along the battlefield and trying to get the lunge connected, but instead he's already fallen victim to the quick combo that we just saw from Alarak. Gets a silence through, and they're making the play for Greymane. Now, Greymane obviously fantastic against the Immortal, but oh, that was a great stun setup there from Shrimpy with a Nubarak. And Greymane is dodging the drag. Nicely done by him. Whoopi missing the drag here. That could have been a kill. I mean, Greymane's value really comes on the Immortal itself. If you are getting close to structures and you can auto-attack them or the Immortal, then Greymane unfolds a lot of the potential that he has there. Shrimpy is getting attacked again. Already moves out, tries to get the stuns in and slow the opponent down as they're trying to win the race, and they lose it by 600 hit points. Whoa. That was looking... I mean, initially it looked really good for Boluo. But now the Kittens with the first objective here. And once more, I have to stress this, guys. Every map matters. It's not a best of 3 where you can lose the map and say like, okay guys, we're still fine, we're going to win the series, we're going to get all these points. All the maps matter here, and this is something where Boluo, they needed to own today. They don't have that 7 yet, they're going to get it any moment, but for the time being, the Kittens have a very, very dangerous push going there. Can try and force the fight even. Then comes the Blizzard. Brandon jumps in with Greymane, trying to get the hits in against the 4 to drop that. They dropped the Fountain already. And here's the 7, which gives us a Subterranean Shield for Anubarak. Starting to make their move into this, trying to get the stun connected, but ETC slides out. Nicely done here. I mean, this is actually a pretty decent side. Ooh, Benjen. Hello? Yeah, Jon Snow actually blocking like a boss here for Jaina. I mean, that could have theoretically even been a kill for them if they play that correctly. And Gia gets to connect with Hanzo's shots fired there, if he gets the skill shots in. Either way, down to the bottom of the map, still the value from the Haka, but they're behind in experience. I mean, the top lane has been pushed, the fort is already down to 50% HP. But then you look at the kill count, it's a single kill that we've seen, and that was the gank against Wooby earlier when he fell. And we're having them starting to move now for the camps, and that's true for both teams. Boluo is taking the top Khazra camp, and at the bottom we're seeing the Kittens being busy there. 11 stacks currently for the negatively charged. We're having also a single stack on the Wizen duel list for now. Quest not quite completed on Hanzo yet, but he will in a second. And then of course he's going to get the extra value on the objective. The problem is really when we're seeing a race starting. There's a couple of things that figure into these plays. First of all, there is obviously the beetle advantage that Boluo has when they're diving a fort, but at the same time there's a Greymane in the picture, and that is changing a lot of the dynamic that you have there. But now the top fort has been claimed, and at the bottom of the map we're going to see Boluo for their own. But here comes Wooby. Wooby is a bit low already, trying to keep himself alive. They're trying to make the play for Greymane. Alex Straza with the hits, and there's the attempt to go for a quick kill against Greymane in the second move, but the Haka falls instead, and now 365 is on the run, and that's the end of Uther. And those 2 kills couldn't have come at a worse moment in time. Boluo is already a level behind. They don't have access to level 10 as the Kittens are now claiming heroic abilities, and this all happens just as the objective is on the map once again. Boluo is falling behind against the Kittens. The Kings in the north a little bit angry after the last battle that we just had there, and now all of a sudden they're going to try and make this a quick and decisive victory. They have the momentum now for sure, and the only thing that Boluo can do is try and play the Hanzo card to at least get some of those hit points removed from the opponent's Immortal, but this is dicey. This is getting really dangerous. I mean, just look at the shield on that Immortal. If they can get the kill against Sansa, that would be fantastic, but right now it doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. Instead, we're seeing Sansa trying to turn things around here with a quick mosh. Nice interrupt, though. Ooh, and that could be the kill opportunity right there. Wooby, can he survive? Sansa low also on mana. They're making the play for Jon Snow, but he gets away. Cocoon already being used. 10s now on both sides. Arrow could come in now from Gia as well. Sansa is low, has no mana, but there's the Immortal on the map towards the top side. Boluo, they don't get the kill, but they might be able to get the defense. I don't think they can really save the fort, but if that's all that they lose here, that would be a win in my book. Moving away from the stun circles. Kitten's still alive, God knows how. ETC is moving back in after moving back to the Nexus to top off his hit point and mana pool, and they're starting to move in again. Yeah, Immortal gets taken down, but we have still a level lead for the Kings in the north here. But Boluo at least is still in the game, so I gotta be honest with you, I really feel that it was a solid defense by them. Would have been better if they could have gotten the kill here, but considering the situation they were in when those level 10 abilities dropped for the blue team, I think Boluo handled this situation quite nicely. And as the game continues, if Poi gets those stacks together, That is definitely going to be something that will be quite important. I mean, right now, they're starting to make the play down for the bottom. They can still try and get maybe a kill in if they make the commitment. Dehaka can use the global, of course. It's currently sitting topside. Here comes the move in. Armament. Dehaka is in as well. Gets the drag against Alexstrasza. Cocoon on the ground. Sansa in trouble. Dragon Queen popped, and that should actually decide it already. They're trying to make the play for ETC again. Whoopi low. Whoopi surviving still, and the re-engage. Jon Snow is about to fall. He's actually alive. You gotta be kidding me. And the double kill against Alarak and against Enubarak. Both of them dead. Look how low Brandon is. Look how low the Kings are. And now Uther falls. Whoopi might die as well. They're about to take the camp here. They can't even get that. Everybody is just absolutely getting demolished. It's just a 5-man team. Wow. I mean, it's worse than the Red Wedding at this point. Melisandre is happy that she doesn't have to take care of Jon Snow again. Apparently, he did know what he was talking about. He knew a lot, it seems, because he somehow made it through that battle. And it looked 2 times as if they would honestly lose this. But once the Dragon Queen got popped, I was actually a bit surprised that Boluo was still committed to that fight. I honestly thought that once the Dragon Queen gets popped, they would just move away from it because, well, Alexstrasza, she reigns supreme in these situations if she has the Dragon Queen. And now also the ult being used, and that, of course, gave massive value here. But look how close this was! I mean, the entire time it looks like they can just get a quick hit in against the first hero on the side of the blue team and then just snowball it from there, but the exact opposite happened. Now we're having 8 kills against 0, 9 kills against 0. Uther is dead. Boluo is falling farther and farther behind. They haven't gotten a single kill yet in this game. Things are just looking horrible for them. Whoopi dies. Unbe-fucking-leavable. Jon Snow survives with like 5 hit points. Maybe 5.5. And now Alarak and Hanzo are both dead. That's 12 kills against 0. The Kittens are just putting out the claws here and are wrecking them. Poi goes down too. And Boluo is getting sliced to pieces like a pineapple. Not looking pretty whatsoever. Game number 1 gave us hope, but game number 2 is taking it away quickly. 23 stacks now on the Wizen Duelist. We have 29 for Alarak on the negatively charged, but this is another big, big win for the Kittens. They haven't taken the map yet, but they are definitely looking at an incredibly good setup. And for the Kittens, all that they want here is taking at least a map now. First game, not good for them. Boluo dominated, but what we're seeing right now is a beatdown. That is an absolute beatdown right now. 100% immortal. They need a win and they need it soon. I mean, there's still a talent behind, but there will be a talent behind for the majority of this game at this point. If you get 13, they get 16. Sansa is low. You got to be kidding me. How are these guys not dying? This is honestly insane. It's like they're getting brought back time and time again. Here comes the Dragon Queen again as they're trying to make the play. Whoopi, even with the Divine Shield now, alive. And they're rushing out, but Poik falls as Greymane goes in. Well, they don't have to deal with the Direwolf here, but Greymane might as well be because Ghost is taking them apart one after another. Uther dead, Alarak dead, Immortal going through the bot lane, Boluo on the ropes, 15 kills against 0. They're getting absolutely murdered in this game. Someone call the care police because there's a crime happening right now on screen. Again, the attack against G as he gets away. Quest completed for now. There's the arrow, but the kill against Whoopi comes in regardless. Mosh pit against Enubarak, and he is dead too. This is going to be game, ladies and gentlemen. 17 kills against 1. Boluo getting murdered here. Can they defend, actually? They get the kill against Imperius. They might be able to defend after all. They're trying to make the play for Brandon right now and for also Jaina, but that Immortal is still incredibly powerful. Uther goes down, and Enubarak is dead too. The only survivor is Alarak, and he's doing his best, but he can't do enough. Boluo about to lose the game and the core, and that is a tie in this best of 2, which means it is basically a loss for Boluo. GG and well played by the Kittens.